every time someone comes in, I just want to make a new regular. I really like seeing familiar faces. It makes walking in at off hours when I'm not normally here a little bit more fun to just say, hey, what's happening?
Welcome back to the Brews Line Roadshow. We're with Erik Pizer at Flipside Brewing in Tinley Park, Illinois. Say hello, Erik.
Hello, Erik.
Thanks for having me here today. I really want to learn a little bit more about your story, the story of the brewery, and we're just going to talk some beer.
Sounds good to me.
One of my favorite subjects anyway.
I'm interested.
So let's go ahead and get started. Give me a little bit of history on Flipside.
Well, Flipside started here almost 4 years ago. July we'll be celebrating our 4th birthday here. I got started a little over a decade ago in this exact same space. There was another brewery, 350 Brewing, that I helped found and open and was the original head brewer of. Left after a short time. Had some different opinions than my business partner at the time. So I went off out and about into the real world, and I brewed with Rock Bottom for a while, opened another place in LaGrange, and was in between things when I had heard the 350 was no longer open, but the space was still here. So I reached out and I signed the lease in this space on April 1st, which was kind of a nice little April Fool's joke to everyone that knew my story up to that
April
point.
1st of this?
No, April 1st of 2022.
Okay, 22.
So a few years back.
I lost the date there somewhere.
So it was fun to take over, and then we were able to open a couple months later. So yeah, we've been open since July of 22.
So where'd the name come from?
It just kind of fit with trying something that would tell the story that fit about doing the same things that I thought we should do, and the same vibe and all that. At the same place, but just kind of a little bit on the flip side.
All right, cool. So you started a little bit about your personal story.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit more about your journey into brewing and that part of it.
Well, back in those, early aughts, late, not quite 2010-ish, I was into craft beer, like drinking beer. A friend of mine came over for New Year's Eve and said, hey, my wife just got me this homebrew kit for Christmas. I think I'd give it a shot. And I always liked things that tasted good, and I like to cook. And I was like, well, hey, man, you should bring that over. So he brought it over a couple days later. And by the second, it was an extract with steeping grains kit. And as soon as those steeping grains hit the water, I was hooked. I just dove in, read every book, listened to every podcast, a lot of the Brewing Network podcasts, and just kind of went crazy and just kept brewing all the time. And it just turned into a little bit of an obsession. And then I had a different friend who was my business partner at 350. We kind of figured out that a little back of the napkin math, we could make a living doing beer, but we're not going to get rich doing this, but do it as a real day job and make a go of it.
Yep.
So we did. And here we are.
Yeah, I've heard that most people don't have the get rich expectation when they get into this.
They shouldn't, because it's not going to happen. But I think that was probably the one thing that's kept me going, is knowing I'm not going to get rich, but I can make a little bit of money doing this,
right? And enjoy
a bill or two.
Yeah.
Luckily, I have a very supportive wife that sees the pluses to this.
Yeah, I gotcha. That's super important, right? Because if mama's not happy, nobody's happy, right?
So nobody's happy if there's no money.
Yeah, that too. In the second round, in the Flipside round of Flipside, what are some interesting, maybe surprising, maybe strange things that have happened since you reopened?
Nothing too crazy. I guess surprising in so much as that it's fun and exciting. Even though it can be awkward at times, the people that come in and want to talk about the past history here. Oh, well, didn't you used to do this beer? No, that was after I had left 350. I don't know anything about it. Or people are like, man, I really like my Last Stop IPA. Yeah, that was the same beer that I used to make back at the beginning times. They're like, oh, I would always drink that beer, and you can still drink it. So the amount of support of people that I met way back when have followed me around and come back here. Apparently they like my beer or they like me. I don't understand either.
One of the two, right?
Yeah. It feels good to see old familiar faces come in and say hi and have a beer and have a burger and have a good time.
Lots of challenges in owning a brewery.
Yep.
Talk a little bit about those.
I mean, just look outside. It's the world we live in right now. Everything is very, very expensive. Staff is expensive. I don't want to work for free. I don't want my staff to work for free. I get it. I do the best I can to pay them, but minimum wage is much higher than it used to be, rightfully so. So I try and pay as best I can above minimum wage because nothing's cheap.
And then the price of beer gets higher. It has
price
to.
of a pint of beer should be much higher than it is based on what the raw ingredients are.
Right.
Not that long ago, malt was 50 cents a pound. Now it's over 70 cents a pound for the same grains. So the biggest ingredient in the glass has nearly doubled in price, but I can't charge $14-15 for a pint of beer.
So it just shrinks the margins, right?
Yep. Yeah.
What should visitors know about this community, about Tinley Park, if they've never been here?
Well, we're one of just a couple of towns in the Chicagoland area outside of the city of Chicago. Before we started recording, we were talking about St. Charles, Riverland's out there, but there's 5 other breweries there, I believe.
Yep.
With Pollyanna, Brother Chimp is there now. I can't think of all of them off the top of my head because I'm thinking about it. But Tinley Park, we have 4 breweries, 3.5 right now. One of them is in between brewers at the moment. But so we have a lot of great beer here in town. They're also really big in live music, which we don't do here at Flipside, just due to the space constraints and everything. But right down the street it is the Credit Union One Amphitheater. It used to be the World, the New World, the Tweeter Center, a whole bunch of different things.
Whoever wants to put their name on it this year.
Yeah, whoever is paying to put their name on it. But it is right down the street, so there's a lot of great concerts all summer long, and we are a great stop for before those. So
perfect.
Load up on cheese curds and burgers. And
now, are you guys able to? Are any of the locals able to sell beer over at the?
No, I think they're locked in with the big 24-ounce cans of Modelo, and they do have Daisy Cutter when I go, so that's usually my go-to.
Yeah, I didn't know if they were. I've been to a couple of those venues that have some local things, but yeah, when they're doing the volume, they got to have the cans,
and they're charging though $16-18 for a can.
Yeah. I know. I try to stop like places here beforehand when I'm.
That's why we're here for you.
So when they get to the tap room, but let's loop back. So you've got 4 pretty local breweries, and you guys just joined the trail. I think you had mentioned someone else joined the Tagabrew Trail.
The Tagabrew. I'm pretty sure I saw the Hailstorm.
Yeah, we'll
be the oldest brewery here in Tinley. Yep. Yeah, they're right down around the corner. I think they joined up, and then. But speaking of trails, kind of like the Tagabrews, the tags. Over the summer, the last few years, Tinley Park has put on, they call it the Ale Trail. So they run a trolley every Wednesday night all summer long, and it hits all the breweries and a couple of other establishments. So
is it like a hop on,
hop off from 5 to 10 p.m. every Wednesday?
That's free. That's
good. You just go wherever you park wherever you need to.
So yeah, you get someone to drive you to the designated first hop.
You can Uber in and out and call it a night.
No, that's great support. I mean, because I find that's getting more and more what it's all about, right? Is being that local place. I was talking to a brewer not too long ago. I said, hey, when I opened up, I was going to be a production brewery, make great beer and distribute it. And he says, now we have a tap room. I don't know what I was thinking before.
I agree. I have old emails that I've seen with my business partners when we were first starting 350 back in the day. And I said, if I have to open a brew pub and have a full kitchen, I'm out. I don't want to do it. And now I wouldn't do it any other way.
Yep.
I firmly believe that having a little something for everyone and being just warm and welcoming to everyone for every need that they might have is the way to go. So we have a full bar. We have a decent wine list. We've got great cocktails. I think our food is outstanding. Our smash burgers are where it's at. I've got a kids menu. I want families to come in and enjoy. If there's anything you want, I want to have it for you so that you can come in and have a good time with us.
So let's talk about the tap room. What should people expect both from the environment and the people here in the tap room?
I think you should expect pretty friendly people, fairly knowledgeable about beer and cocktails. I think you should expect a interesting vibe, fun vibe. You can hear the music going on right now. We got some 90s dance music going on, a lot of 90s grunge, pretty eclectic mix. We always have something like reggae day or ska day, depends on who's bartending. Apparently when I leave, some country hits the speakers. Not a huge fan of that myself, but as long as everyone's having a good time, that's all that really matters. But for the most part, just pretty welcoming, easy to hang out at sort of a space.
What about your team? What skills, what qualities you look for when you hire people? We talked a little bit about that challenge from the cost of people. But,
everyone wants to work in beer. Not everyone can. Some of the other places in town are less brew pub focused, less of a restaurant, more of a tap room with food, which is great. They've got big, massive spaces and good food to go with it. I think we're more of a restaurant first. So, I don't have a lot of high top tables. It's a lot of low tops. For family, especially to come in and sit down. So my staff is able to talk well about the beer we have and the food we have and be able to run around and like give good service too. I like to think that they are more on the hospitality side of things where they make you feel welcome and have a good time. Johnny, who's behind the bar right now, he really knows a lot of people's names as they walk in, just to make everyone feel welcome and come back. And like our loyalty club, we call it the Flipside Friends Club. So every time you come in, we're going to know your name and talk to you. And
I can say as someone coming in for the first time, I was immediately greeted.
Absolutely.
Hey, you're here by yourself?
Yep.
Would you like a place to sit? And don't always get that.
Well, that's I think it's the bare minimum. It sounds like a lot, but I think it's the bare minimum. Yeah. I think that that's exactly what we want here.
Yeah.
You want to come in and immediately be welcome.
So let's talk about brewing and your approach to beer. Are there any things you do uniquely when you're creating beer? Are there some ingredients or techniques that you use that maybe are a little different?
Well, I think I lean towards the classic styles. You're going to find a lot of British beers here. I went on a trip to England years ago with my now wife and fell in love with that style of beer and, a cask beer. So I have a beer engine. So you're always going to find something on cask here. A lot of just lower ABV, easy to drink, sessionable beers, but I think I also hit some of the hoppy ones. Classic American styles, pretty strong. You're going to find a variety. There's always going to be some of my rock bottom brew pub life has seeped through or stuck with me of having something light. So I always have a light lager. I usually have 2 lagers at least on. You're always going to find something like a little bit fruity, sweeter, maybe something malty. We always have a pub ale. English mild, Irish red, something like that on all the time. Always gonna have a dark beer, and then plenty of hoppy beers because that's what pays the bills.
So if you had to say these are flagship beers, what would they be?
You're always gonna find Flipside Lager. My American Light Lager is gonna be on tap. Last Stop IPA is my classic American IPA. Monochrome Dream is a hazy IPA. Citra Mosaic Equinaut, just right down the middle, what you're looking for with something like classic New England style. And then usually I'll have either Haunted Pass as an English dark mild or Rascal King, an English pub ale. You'll usually find one or both of those on almost all the time.
Do you have a favorite, one you're most proud of?
It's always the cold one in my hand. It depends.
Good answer.
It's usually, whatever is freshest and newest, I find myself drinking the most of. I definitely always find myself going back to those British styles, though. So Rascal King is generally a go-to.
What are some of the activities and events that you do to connect with the community?
Well, we do host like a themed trivia night once a month, the end of the month. Those are always fun. We partner with Chicago Trivia Guys, a local company that comes out and runs it. But they've got great hosts, great setup. They run the whole thing really, really well. Some fun themes. We're recording right now. It's March. I think next week is The Office trivia. Next month we'll have Star Wars and then Seinfeld. So we got a couple of good ones coming up. We've been doing a few different like paint nights in the back here, where you kind of like sipping paint, sort of things like that. And then just leaving here, we do the ale trail. Tinley Park has a block party we were part of last year, kind of like a big event. So we were there selling beer, participated in their holiday market, like a Chris Kindle market.
Oh, cool.
So try and get out and see the people out like that. And then there used to be a bottle shop directly across the street from us called The Open Bottle. They still have a space in Lockport. And the last 3 years now, we have done around Christmas time Santa's Midnight Snack, like a Christmas cookie inspired Imperial Milk Stout, and we've donated $1 of that to a local charity.
Yeah,
so
giving back a little bit.
We try to do a little bit like that. Yeah.
What about plans and goals for the future? What are you thinking about there?
Open up again tomorrow. It's hard enough. Just trying to keep going, keep having a good time. Every time someone comes in, I just want to make a new regular. I really like seeing familiar faces. It makes walking in at off hours when I'm not normally here a little bit more fun to just say, hey, what's happening?
Yep.
My family really likes, my kids like to come and eat here. Yeah, open up the next day is number one. But just to keep going, just cement myself a little bit more in the community that we're going to still be here. And I want to just keep making great beers and great smash burgers.
Well, I know, because you talked about a little bit earlier that you're a family man. So what are some of the things that you do when you're not in here, which might not be that much time?
Well, I have 3 daughters, so it's usually just driving them around or going to some of their activities. My oldest is in a bunch of plays. She likes to do that. My youngest plays soccer and all sorts of different after school activities. So it's running around doing that. And occasionally I like to golf. I actually used to golf a lot. Right up until the year that I started making beer, I had one of the kids was born, kind of got off track with hitting the links, but I was able to start brewing at home in the evenings. I didn't have to go anywhere for 4 or 5 hours at a time.
That's right.
I was just in the garage, and then it just got a little out of hand.
Wow. That time, I've heard a couple of people that gave up the golf for the brewing.
Yeah,
but it's really giving up the golf for the kids is what the theme is, really.
That's really what it was.
Yeah.
The brewing just turned into
I was fortunate enough that I had 3 boys and they all started golfing early, so I didn't necessarily.
My youngest did several golf camps last year, so she's starting to get into it.
Good for her.
I am looking forward to playing some with her this summer.
Okay, last but not least, what beer should I try today, Erik?
Only because, like I said, it's whichever one is cold and I'm drinking. But we were talking about it, and I haven't had it in a while, even though I've been making it the longest. But Last Stop IPA. It's
all right.
Classic American IPA.
Let's give it a try.
A little Simcoe, Citra, and Centennial hops. You're gonna love it.
All right, we're back. I have the Last Stop IPA in my hands. I'm going to take a little drink of this while you tell us a little bit more about it.
Oh, I thought I was going to drink too. Shoot.
You can drink.
It's just a classic American IPA, a little bit of caramel malt in there, plenty of bitterness, Centennial, Citra, a little Simcoe. So it's grapefruit and pine, a little dank.
It's
bitter.
It's definitely what you would expect when you hear American IPA.
When you say IPA, it should taste like this, I think.
I really like the mix. It's not one hop.
It's not super fruity.
Yeah.
It's not super
not too piney. Not
generic tropical fruit. It's not rip the enamel off your teeth bitter. It's not.
Well, Erik, I want to thank you for being on the Tagaboo Trail.
Happy to be here.
I want to thank you for taking time to introduce Flipside to our audience. Cheers, my friend.
Cheers to you.
The Brews Line Roadshow is a production of The Brews Line and presented by Tagaboo USA. Theme music for the Brews Line Roadshow is provided by Mikey Garrett of the band Fever Dream. You can find out more about the Brews Line at brewsline.com.